Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. Fans, brews, and Broncos news. Welcome to Game Day, Broncos country. It is week 2. We got the Denver Broncos facing off against the cute little harmless tiny baby Colts who just
baby horses.
They're little baby horses. Broncos are looking to come in and wreck shop. We have two teams here, both 1-1. One team beat the Miami Dolphins and think that they're the next best thing after sliced bread. And then we have the Broncos, who are also 1-0, beat the Titans, who are actually looking pretty good today against the Rams. Maybe they're a better team than people were giving them credit for. So maybe last week's win wasn't against a terrible team. It was, hey, we struggled against a mildly respectable team there. And in week 1, Broncos are set to turn things around and show that they are improved offensively. But we're going to get into all that today, guys. So make sure you post your comments, post your questions. We're going to go through all the last minute details to include the inactives list and get into our score prediction challenge about halfway through the show as well. So Adam, sir, how you doing on this fine game day Sunday?
I am excellent because it is game day, and no matter what is going on during the week, no matter what has happened in the Monday through Saturday grind that we call life, we still have Bronco football at the end of it, and that is still a beautiful thing, and that is still what I have gotten amped up for since I was like 3 days old or whatever the story may be. So I always look forward to game day. And I am pumped, as always. Ready to think that we're going to put it on some Colts today. So,
yep, I like it. Let's see, guys. So let's see. Type that in. We got an actives list, and that's the first big thing, some injury stuff that we want to go over. Let's look at the Broncos before we go over the Colts, because I think we have the better news when it comes to the Broncos inactives list and injuries. First off, we saw Alex Singleton re-injure his thumb again. Not now it was not the same exact fracture got refractured.
Right,
it was the same finger in a different location. Now he is a linebacker, he is a beast, and he is out there.
A legit crazy man too.
Legit crazy man.
Yeah, because we all like to think that we're tough guys, but let's face it, we get a cold and we're like, dude, I'm down. I can't pod today, guys. I'm feeling it. I'm grinding, but I'm feeling it.
That man flu is real. Okay.
But Alex Singleton, we should all model to be the Alex Singleton in our households who are playing with legit dude. Okay. Besides breaking his thumb, I was like, whatever, tape it back up. I'll get back out there.
Yeah.
He played he tore his ACL in the Tampa Bay game. I was like, that feels weird. Whatever.
Keep going.
And just
still lead the team in tackles.
Plays every defensive snap. Afterward is like, my knee looks a little swollen. Whatever.
Yeah. So
just brace it up. It'll be fine.
Whatever. The good thing is he's going to be out there, and he's going to be a beast. Now, obviously, with the clubbed hand, we can get into all that later. Shouldn't be too big of a factor for him, though. Linebackers aren't looking to intercept passes. They're more just the tackling, stopping guys. So we'll be okay there. The interesting one from today that I thought might honestly be swapped from last week is Jaleel McLaughlin is inactive again today.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they were going to swap out Bidet for McLaughlin to maybe give him a chance, and maybe send a message to the running back room. I don't know. I just figured if there was going to be some sort of swap, it'd be here. But what we're seeing is based off the matchup, based off everything they're seeing, they're still riding with Tyler Bidet over 𝐁𝐫𝐤 and that's fine. I mean, you go back to, people were talking about 𝐁𝐫𝐤 on the sideline last week. He was energized. He was amping his teammates up. Great teammate, great behavior, great attitude. And so that's fine, right? But from the rest of this, Dre Greenlaw, we're expecting back next week. But overall, from the Broncos, man, we're looking pretty damn healthy.
I mean, you can't really ask for too much. I mean, especially when you contrast that against the Colts, who are going to be down 2 cornerbacks and their best pass rusher in Latu, who also has the best name in the NFL, in my opinion, because it's the easiest. So, I mean, when you contrast that, Denver has Greenlaw out, which is, I mean, yeah, it's a loss, but we don't know what we have in him yet. So at this point, you can't miss what you never had, and in a strange way,
right?
We're playing at a high level without him. So it's only going to be a plus when he comes back. And then as far as any other injuries, there's stuff here and there, little things here and there, but obviously we're going into this game about as healthy as you could ask for. And health is its own trait in an NFL season. And you can see the correlation. It's if you have a healthy team, you're going to have a very successful team. So this is it's not something to overlook, especially going into. I'm gonna say this is gonna be a tougher than advertised road game. I'm gonna say that right now. Yeah,
and that's okay. One thing I want people to remember is you look back to last year. We were 0-2 before our first road game, or I guess before we had the road game against Seattle. We came home, lost against the Steelers, 0-2, and then we go on this road trip. Right, 2 back-to-back games. We stayed on the East Coast. And we started that off with beating the Buccaneers, right? Handily. So this team, just because we're playing a tough team on the road, I just want people to remember that last year they were ready to go in there 0-2 and make some noise.
Yeah.
And the Buccaneers are a solid team. Baker Mayfield's no joke, right? But we made them look silly, at least for the first half. So this is a chance for the Broncos. I think they're maybe feeling the same way. Like, hey, we won. Yeah, we're 1-0, but this week we're 0-0, right? This week we need to prove ourselves. This week we need to show the improvement that we've been highlighting and talking about all offseason. Right. Because it just wasn't there last week. So I think, we're going to get to some keys to victory later on, guys. Let's see. I like a couple comments here really quickly. James, how you doing? Says go Broncos. DeAndre, I want to start with this comment here, man. Broncos D has to set the tone. And the offense has to play complementary football in all 3 phases. And I'm going to add special teams in there as well. We cannot have any special teams failures, muffed punts, letting the Colts run back, have a really solid run back or touchdown return or anything like that. Special teams needs to be equally involved. But I'm not so much worried about the defense. I think they're going to be able to shut down Danny Dimes. The question for you then first, Adam, is where do you see Jonathan Taylor coming into this? Is he going to be able to break out and have a good game? Are we going to be able to stop him, at least contain him to the point where we're forcing Danny to throw? And what's that going to look like?
I want to go back to the game last year at Mile High where he was a very integral part of that game, both good and bad, because he, for as good as the Denver defense is and was last season, Taylor kind of sliced us up a little bit in that game. And if he had not had that boneheaded plays, which everybody does, guys, everybody has that play. Don't do the thing. Just hold the ball. Just hold that thing until you cross the goal. Anyway, but so you have that. My point being, he is one of their biggest pieces. You can reasonably expect that, PS2 is going to be shadowing Michael Pittman all day. So that is going to be the key. Can the Denver defense, who for the most part shut down Pollard last week, can they do the same thing? put the game on Danny Pick Six. I mean, Danny Dimes is back, and let this defensive line eat, because we've already seen from last week. If you put these guys in obvious passing situations, man, you wreck a lot of offensive lines with our pass rush. So especially when I mean Jonah Ellis, you can bring Jonah Ellis in as a sub. That is how deep we are at outside linebacker right now in pass rusher. So
I love it. Look, I think Danny Dimes is going to get put on his butt.
I would concur.
And at the very least, he's going to get people in his face frequently. He's going to feel the pressure where he didn't last week. And I know this isn't a Miami Dolphins show. And I apologize to our friend Drew over at the Sports Balls podcast, big Dolphins fan who was on the show a couple weeks ago with Des there. These guys are already having player-only meetings. And for anyone who's listening to what that means, I can't remember who it was. Some ex-NFL player was talking about, if you're having player-only meetings, it's not a kumbaya. It's not a, hey, guys, we're okay. We can turn this around. No, if you're feeling like you have to be behind closed doors away from your coach to work things out after game one, you're done.
Exactly.
So this is, and the reason I bring this up is this is who the Colts beat last week. Right, they were already going in hanging by a string, and so they're feeling very good about themselves, very confident. And I would not be surprised if early on you see some of that confidence evaporate. They're probably going to be aggressive, they're going to be feeling good about themselves, but if we're able to shut that down early, that's going to throw them off. And I think that's going to be what maybe moves the tide of the game. You get the home crowd out of it. You get the Broncos on a roll. Things start working, right? So it might be where we get, behind maybe a little early on.
Right.
7-0, maybe even 10-0. I don't know. But that's going to work back because this defense is going to get rolling and, get some interceptions, get some turnovers, sack Danny Dimes, and all of a sudden it's a different ball game, man, at that point.
I mean, I have a feeling that there could be some where you do kind of have to weather the storm a bit in those early moments of the game. But that's where having a really good defense can really, kind of quiet down that crowd and kind of take that out of the game. Yeah. And Lucas Oil is actually kind of one of those venues that Denver has not traditionally played very well in. Now, I do want to say that Danny Dimes does kind of have historically like a game like he has had against Miami where he goes out and he looks very, very good.
Yep.
But it's never a sustained thing. So I guess my question to you is, do you think that we're going to see the Miami version of, Danny Dimes, or are we going to see what we normally see from him
right
come Denver?
I think you're going to see a little bit of both. I think you're going to see the attitude and the confidence of last week in Danny Dimes. I think you're going to see him go out there feeling really good about himself, taking some chances. But once he feels that pressure, the consistent pressure from the Broncos, once he gets hit, once he makes a mistake, once there's a turnover, I think you're going to see him start to revert. Right? I think you're going to see him get him into his own head, and it goes downhill from there. And that's the point I want to make is, don't go out there watching the game and just be surprised if they start looking good right away, because they're already firing after last week. They're already confident. They already have some momentum. It's up to the Denver defense to stop that. And I fully believe that they can. There's probably need to be some adjustments that need to be made and whatnot. But again, if we can limit Jonathan Taylor, if we can get to Danny Dimes, those two things right there, we should be able to shut these guys down, especially in the second half.
Yeah, and I would agree with that too. I do think that the Colts do have some better weapons than the Titans, especially at running back. Don't forget, they have Tyler Warren that they drafted this year, who was one of my favorite players in the draft. Yeah. And that may be one of those stylistic matchups that maybe Denver doesn't quite have the answer for. Maybe I'm not hoping for that. but I obviously think that that could be something that could be an exploitable thing. Vic, I do like that because that is also something that could happen. It's an equally plausible thing that does happen when Daniel Jones plays. It's either a great throw or it's something not so great, and we're hoping for today not so great.
Yeah.
Let's
get.
No,
Yeah, go for
ahead,
it. Go
Jeff.
for it.
Oh,
Okay.
I was just gonna say that since we're talking about inactives, that we're
Yeah,
gonna
go for it.
talk about Jaleel McLaughlin and not being dressed again 2 weeks in a row.
But I think this is it's okay. Again, you go back to he has the right attitude. He's cheering on his teammates, and he knows at some point his name's going to get called this season. At some point, he's going to go out there and have to perform. And if that doesn't work out when his name is called, he's in trouble, right? So he needs to be ready. And I think this is a culture within Denver now. Everyone knows eventually your name's going to get called. And if you're not ready to go out there and perform just as well as the starters, or to your top effort, top ability, and make some plays, you're not going to be on this team anymore. And that's the culture we want, right? But they go out there and they see it as a challenge because they want to help out their team. They want to be a part of the team, and that sometimes means being patient and waiting for your name to be called. So with Jaleel McLaughlin, we know what he can do. It's almost like we're going to wait to use him to when it's most beneficiary for the matchups, for the team, for the game, for the health of the team. And that's fine, right? Let's get Tyler Bidet some more experience. And if they feel that he's the best guy for the job today, let's go with it, man.
Yeah. And I really feel like it has more to do with the fact that Bidet has the skill set that they're looking for to kind of fit within the constraints of the offense. And he plays more special teams than McLaughlin at this point. And so
you frozen.
Down.
There you go.
Oh,
no, you're back.
Okay. While McLaughlin is more that first and second down runner, he's not going to take carries away from Dobbins, and he's not going to take carries away from I'm drawing a blank Harvey. But
Harvey, yep.
So at this point, that's kind of the way that it's broken. And while it sucks, that's what the NFL is. The NFL is a meritocracy, and so right now you got to roll with Bidet until proven otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get to some of these comments here, guys. Really quickly, I'm seeing some score predictions. We're going to hold off on that. I'm not going to pull them up yet. In about 10 minutes, here's what we're going to do. In about 10 minutes, I'll let you know when the score prediction challenge is officially going to be open. So one, make sure you hit that share button. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get as many Broncos fans in here as we possibly can to get ready for this upcoming matchup. But then in 10 minutes at the bottom of the hour, we're going to say, hey, time for some score predictions. You start typing in your score prediction. At that point, your first one that you type in is your official score prediction. If you get it right, guys, you're going to win a Broncos jersey on us of your choice. Okay, so make sure you put in your score prediction. But a couple things, get a screenshot. Remember what your score prediction is, whatever. If you're right, let us know. Reach out to us via our DMs, via our website, whatever the case is, and say, hey, I got it right. I got, here's my screenshot, or just let me know, when you post it, I can go back and I can verify that your very first score prediction after 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time was the one that was correct. So if you spam it with like 10 different score predictions, we're going to go off the first one that you post. But so simple as that, guys. You're just going to have to type in your score predictions. We'll start counting them officially at 1:30 in about 9 minutes. So hold on for that a little bit more, guys. Let's see some other things going on here with this organization. Let's get to some comments first, because I know we let these go a little bit here. I like this from Victor. Yeah, I think we already talked about it. He'll be called Danny Penny 5 sacks for the defense. I think that's definitely very likely today.
Yeah.
Gary says, I predict Adam will get a full 6 feet tall.
Gary, I'm bringing a doctor's note, man, because that is slander. It's slander.
That's slander. I like it. There was a comment earlier, but this one first from Chris. Offense can only get better. That's what I see. Totally agree, man. We get Michael up in here as well. Good to see you, bud. Here's the comment I was looking for. And so, Adam, my question for you is going to be, after I go through this, is, what kind of, what do you want to call it? Maybe flying under the radar player do you expect to see kind of or you need to see have a big day today to kind of help us win. For me, and I was going to bring this up already, so Andrew, it's going to sound like I'm stealing it from you, but you're spot on. This is exactly what I'm thinking too. Franklin showed a lot of improvement in week 1. And I think if we can continue to utilize that today, that's going to be a big matchup, right? They're going to be doing everything they can to cover Courtland Sutton, right? But if we can get some of these other wide receivers to include Franklin, Pat Bryant, those guys more in the mix, that's going to help out our offense a ton, right? We're going to get to the running game in a little bit, and Adam, we'll see what you have to say. But I think Franklin is in for a potential big game today. And not to say that he's going to bust any records for fantasy football or anything like that, but if you can make the defense focus more on Franklin or equally between Court and Franklin or Court and Pat or Court and whoever, you're just going to give Courtland Sutton even more opportunities, right? For those one-on-one matchups, pull some attention off of him and get him the ball too. So Franklin is, I think, one, showed a lot of improvement last week. And I think if they can move that trust forward to say, hey, you did a lot of good, let's get you the ball some more this week and see what you can do with it. I'm really excited to see what this guy can do today. But Adam, what about you, man?
I had to kind of piggyback on your point, Kev. I mean, if you make it to where you have to basically play a 1v1 offense, it makes it harder on the defense to match up. That's it. So that's where a guy like Trey Franklin really comes into play. For me, I'm looking for some more Evan Ingram in my life, and not just because he's on my fantasy team. It's because he is a quarterback's whoopee. He's a quarterback's best friend. And I think when we really do go quick in that quick to short intermediate passing game, that is where we are the most dangerous. That is where Bo, I really feel like he's, just excels in that. And I really feel like that's where we need to see on the offense. On the defense, this guy has been campaigning to get paid. And yet last week, I did not hear his name called a whole lot. And that is John Franklin Myers. I need him to maybe get me a sack or just a big play today. I didn't hear much from him last week. He did show up on the injury report during the week, kind of out of nowhere. He ended up practicing the rest of the week fine. Maybe this is one of those veterans maintenance days type of dealies. But as far as JFM, I need to see more out of you today, baby.
I like it. That's a good name, especially if he's asking for more money. If that's the case, put up or shut up. Yeah. And to love him. He's been a great Bronco, but don't be coming at us saying I deserve more money and then not doing anything, right? So big name to watch for today. Couple here. Let's see. Chris says, Adam, this is why no BS. Don't BS the hype, man. Read the rule. We'll get a tape measure. You come out to a tailgate next game, man, and we'll videotape it and everything. So I'm down, man. I'm down. Andrew predicts Jahdae Barron get his first interception today. And we saw him out there a good bit last week, right? He wasn't a starter, and that's fine, right? Again, let's work these guys into their starting roles. But Moss held his own. He got picked on a lot, but that's what happens when you're opposite.
Exactly.
That's Sertan. You just know you're gonna, and that's almost better. Like you just know what to expect during that game, right? And he held his own. It wasn't an amazing performance, but he didn't let anything big get by him. You see more Jahdae Barron get involved. I would fully, at some point he's going to get an interception real soon. And you're going to see why the Broncos drafted him. You're going to see why he was projected to go within the top 10 and be kind of surprised. Right. Be like, why did he fall to us? I think it's just a matter of time. So,
Chris,
another one from Chris.
Too.
Offense star will be Mims.
Seeing some more Marvin Mims. Guy is running number 2 on the depth chart. He is the co-starter opposite Courtland Sutton and did not do a whole lot in that first game last week. Had a brutal muffed punt that really should be talked about a bit more and could have had a much bigger impact on the game had not the Denver defense put their Superman cape on and bailed out the Denver defense or the Denver special teams, the Denver offense there. So yeah, getting something out of Marvin today, whether it be catching the ball on offense or maybe a big return to set up something, or maybe gets his own score. Yeah, I'm all about maybe seeing Marvin Mims make a splash play today.
And look, I understand the potential worry from that muffed punt last week. I'm chalking it up to a week one mistake, a week one blunder. You know, there were a couple of those last week, and pretty much every team in week one has them. But Marvin Mims, two-time Pro Bowler return guy, he knows what he's doing. Now, if this happens again, like today, okay, we need to spend some time talking about it for sure, right?
Yeah.
Saying what is going on. Andrew says, is Mims banged up a bit? Not that, I did see him, limp a little bit, I think, last week, because he did get that really, was it that late hit on him?
I think he did have a hit come in late in the game. I want to say
I think it was flagged.
When they did go to broke camp, he did have some sort of a groin thing, but it was another kind of instance like Franklin Myers, where he was on the report one day, off the report the following week. So was it more of like just a maintenance thing, a tweak thing? Who knows? If it is injury related, fine, but that's also, if it is injury related, then somebody else needs to be playing in your spot. I'm sorry, not sorry. But if you're going to be hurting the team by being out there because you're hurt, then somebody else needs to take your spot. So that's why I don't think that's the case. Exactly, Gary. So while I don't think that is the case, he did take a big hit in that game on Sunday. So
yeah. So again, I think if it was something of note, he would have been on the injury report. It would have been something. I think it was probably just he got a stinger, and he's okay. I think there would have been a lot more talk about it this week if there was a concern about it. So,
right.
Something from Andrew here. No delay of games. Get the call in, and I want people to focus on what the root cause, I really believe, for these issues we saw last week was. It was the substitutions. The substitutions were not and I understand Sean Payton is going to do things his way. He more or less said so this week. One after the game, he said he's got to do better, especially at the beginning of the game. So he recognizes that, but he also kind of said, and I didn't think about finding the exact clip before the show here, was he's not going to change how, his strategies. And the reason for the substitutions is it makes sense, right? You want to throw the defense off. You want to be able to run multiple packages or multiple plays out of different player packages. But you could see there was real frustration there from Bo Nix. I think this has been probably a focal point for the team this week of how to communicate better, how to work these substitutions in better. Maybe they don't do as many substitutions early on in the game and then work up to it throughout the course of the game, right? Let the offense get some momentum. Let the running backs get a few more carries other than one and you're off, right? It's going to be interesting to see what they do here with that. But that was obviously something that you saw Bo Nix yelling back to the sideline about. Very frustrating.
Right.
So while Sean Payton more or less said, I'm going to keep teaching calculus, it's up to you to figure it out. I don't care if you're barely able to do algebra 1 at this point. You got to figure it out. Right. And I'll admit, I stole that from the fan, but it was a good example, right? He's saying, here's what I'm going to do. Here's the expectation, and you better figure it out. And we're going to work towards that. So overall, I think this is the thing that we need to work on offense. And if they can get the communication better, if they can get the substitutions in quicker, a lot of this is going to alleviate some of the pressure that Bo Nix was feeling last week.
Well, to kind of go and partner with that, and what I threw up on the website last night is that, if that's the case, then Sean needs to help out his QB and maybe not chase momentum, big momentum swings all of the time. Maybe he does need to let the game come to him a little bit. If it is a calculus thing, I am maybe a little bit embarrassed to say that, Sean, I would never been able to play for you there, buddy. That's why I'm a journalist and not an engineer or whatever. And you know what? I'm good at other things. So as far as
it works.
So, but again, it seems like Sean has been chasing a rhythm with the offense by keeping him out there for the fourth down calls. The strangest one being the 4th and inches call last week, and the weird throw it up and hope that Mims like runs underneath it. I don't.
When I think Court was wide open on the other side. Court was wide open on the other side. Why do that? Yeah,
exactly. Why is that the call? Like, if you want to go for it, fine. I personally would have liked to been more conservative, but that's beside the point. But to your point, Kev, is why does it have to be a big gamble, low payout call? Why can't it just be something that I don't know, that's worked before? I don't know. So for me anyway, it's you want people to get on the same page. If Peyton wants people to get on the same page as him, fine. He's the coach. That's his prerogative. But maybe it's also incumbent on him to make things easier on the player so that way they can succeed. And we're not seeing these, big swings and misses needlessly, in my opinion, on game day.
Agreed. Some good comments here. We're going to pick up in just a second, guys. First off, it is time for the score prediction challenge to kick off. So start posting your score predictions. Again, you can post 10 score predictions. That's fine. We're only going to take the first one that you post. If you want to help out the algorithm and post a whole bunch of scores, that's fine. Just recognize that we're only going to hold you to the very first one that you post there. And I will check. If you say you won, I will check to make sure there are not multiple postings. So, but again, if you get the score correct and you have to bet on the Broncos to lose. Or sorry, the Broncos to win. Wow, that was terrible. Cut that out. You have to select the Broncos to win. If the Broncos lose and you got the score prediction correct, I don't care because the Broncos lost. So Broncos to win and correct score. If you get those two things, you win a jersey from us here at Bourbon Broncos, no BS. So start posting this in, guys, and we'll bring them up here in a little bit. We'll give our score predictions here at the end of the show. Before we get some more of these comments, guys, remember, we are live at halftime as well. So as soon as halftime starts and you pick up your phone, because I know you do, don't lie to me. You pick up your phone. Go on over to Facebook. Go on over to YouTube. Go to our website. We're going to be live for the halftime hash show, breaking down the first half of the action and getting some instant reactions, talking about what the Broncos need to do to secure the win in the second half. Tomorrow night, Monday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, we have our post-game podcast live show. So make sure you tune in at 8 p.m. As we break down the game. Win, loss, or tie, however ugly it gets, however beautiful it is, we will be there talking about the game, having some fun, and looking at everything that happened. So then Tuesday night, we got our flagship Bourbon Broncos No BS show at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And we also got our pregame podcast that's posted on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Podchaser, wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are on there as well. So make sure you check that out. For the game, head on over to broncosandbourbon.com. Head on over to the huddle page and go to the game day chat section. We'll be there talking about the game, sharing our thoughts and everything. So if you want the chat to continue like we're doing here during the show, head on over to the website during the game, and we'll talk about it more there as well. Okay, I see some score predictions coming in. Let's start sharing these. Before we do, there is one little thing that we definitely need to talk about that we haven't yet. Andrew says it well here. No 90% pass, 10% run drives. Yeah. And Chris says we need the 60% run, 40% pass to set up for the run or for the play action and all those kind of things. Yes. And what we saw last week, and again, something Sean Payton was talking to was there were run plays called that Bo Nix then checked out of.
Right.
So the plan this week, it sounds like, is to call 2 run plays so that if Bo needs to check out of the first one, they still are going to run the ball. So you may not see a lot of early success with the run. You may not see any 20, 30, 40-yard runs, right? And plus, the last time we saw a 50-plus yard run was way too long ago. So just the fact we had one already this season is amazing.
Right?
But I fully expect that you're going to see a whole lot more running early on in the game maybe that means we punt a little bit more early in the game, and that's fine, right? As long as we stick to the run, because that's going to open up the options later on if we can get the Colts defense to really respect the fact that we're going to run the ball. What do you think, Adam?
I thought you saw in the second half what the offense looks like when it's more conservative, but it's also more balanced with the run. The touchdown was predicated on a big run. That whole drive was set up with a big RJ Harvey run where he just looked as advertised. He looked strong. He looked fast, running through arm tackles. J.K. Dobbins, again, when he's right and he's healthy, about as a bowling ball style of running back as you'll find. You saw that in that TD run, and then they're able to pass off of that. You saw the big run. I think you saw the big Evan Ingram catch was off of a play action. All the things that they were trying to do in the first half off of the play action actually can work. So, coincidentally enough, when you run the ball. So I think that when there was more of a commitment to that, when you saw it in the second half, that's what the offense looks like. I don't know if Sean maybe wants it to look maybe that basic. I don't want to get too conspiratorial here, but it almost felt like Sean had a ton of new toys and was trying out all of his new toys. And instead of just, going by the same old standbys and just like, okay, this is what we do all the time and this works. So I don't know. I'm hoping there's more of a what's a good way to phrase it? There's more of a less scattershot approach to the offense today. So that's what I'm hoping. And that's what I'm hoping for. I think we'll see it today. And I think we're, obviously Denver's going to pull it out. We know that, but we're hoping that it looks a little bit better than it did last week.
Yeah. If the Broncos lose today, it's going to be off the basis of the offense looked atrocious. I don't believe that we're going to see the defense go out there and do anything less than stellar, right? If we lose, it's going to be in a close game, and it's because the offense could not do crap. At that point, we're going to have a real big conversation because the rest of at least the next few games are looking very challenging. And obviously with the Bengals, we'll see what happened to their quarterback out there. Sounds like he had a toe injury today. Yeah.
I have a 𝐂𝐫𝐨𝐬 on my fantasy team, and that was bad news today, my friend.
So look, that game might not, we'll see how bad it is. He couldn't walk off on his own power, right? So it could be a pretty significant foot injury there. And it'll change the outlook of the game against the Bengals, but then you're on the road to Philadelphia, right? So this offense is kind of like their last chance to work out the kinks and get things going because it starts next week with the Chargers.
That's a good point.
Jose, all I'm going to say here, if the Broncos go undefeated, look, we're going to take this one game at a time, buddy. And for everyone out there,
I like the enthusiasm.
One game at a time. We're undefeated right now, but for this week, we're 0-0. So that's all that matters. Right. Guys, make sure you head on over to broncosandbourbon.com. Remember, it is free to sign up for this season. Anybody who signs up this season is going to get automatically upgraded for free when we introduce membership tiers next season. That's the phrase I'm looking for. Next season. And we still have the Easter egg. Nobody has found the Easter egg yet. The person who finds the Easter egg is going to get a free lifetime top tier membership. You will never have to pay to upgrade for anything on the website ever for your life.
I think that was a really good hint that you gave too.
And I'm surprised. I thought I kind of gave it away too much, but
a little bit. Like if you're already registered, you're fine. Yeah. You're not gonna. Maybe you want to create your own burner account and so that way
you just pretend like you're creating a new one.
Yeah,
you don't actually have to go through the full. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I think that's another unofficial hint, if anything.
It could be. That could be. Yeah. So I think so far we have the hints are new users are more likely to find the Easter egg than existing users. And maybe you want to go back and pretend like you're creating a new account for the first time. And
be a
little thorough. So essentially, you're going to be
Thorough.
an admin without the admin privileges, right? You're going to have the top tier membership. You're going to get to see everything. So this is something you guys want to go do. Make sure you sign up today at broncosandbourbon.com. Okay, let's start going through some of these score predictions, man. And if there's anything that stands out to you, let's break them down. But let me go back to when I said it's live. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. A lot of them coming in right away. I think right about here was when it said. So James, I think, was the first one about 133 that I got in. Broncos 28, Colts 17. Repeating my score so it's official. Thank you very much, Chris, because I was going to hold you to it. Broncos 35, Colts 14. I like this. I think there's some confidence here I'm seeing in some of these score predictions when it comes to the Broncos putting up some good points. Now, if the Broncos can put 41 points up on the board today, Jose, man, you and I are going to be partying because that would be beautiful. It would be ironic if the Colts get 18 points for, good old Peyton Manning there, considering that just for any Colts fans out there, just remind them that Peyton Manning is a Bronco. He retired a Bronco. We didn't need to put a big fancy statue outside of the stadium to kind of like
for him to come back.
Right. Right.
And he didn't even stay for the game.
Yeah. So look, Colts fans, you literally, crumpled up and threw away Peyton Manning. You lost him. So for them to score 18 points today and lose would be beautiful. I'd like the irony of that. So Chris, glad to help, man. Angelo, 23-13. 23 is respectable. I'd be okay with that. Right. It's a little bit of improvement from last week. The Colts, I'm not saying that the Colts are nobodies, right?
No.
But I think you're going to see that, that means that the Broncos are able to move the ball effectively, get some touchdowns, some field goals, and put points on the board. And that's what we want to continue to see. But I like this one here from Andrew as well, 27-16. So some good scores here, man. So far, what are you thinking?
I think we're seeing kind of the consensus that this may still be a work in progress on offense, but the Denver defense is more than capable of rising to the occasion. And what I was kind of thinking is that week one can be kind of fool's gold for a lot of teams, especially if you come out and lay an egg. That's maybe not indicative of how you're going to come out and play. But it can, on the other side of that, being a world beater doesn't necessarily make you're not necessarily out there being a world beater for the rest of the season. So do we think the Colts in this instance, are more world beater, or are they more, not as good as everybody thinks? I mean, we've already kind of touched on that. And yeah, I guess it kind of goes back. Like, do we have any stock in that Miami team that's, waving the white flag going into that? I don't think so. And if looking at our units, do we think the Denver defense is going to be worse against the Colts? I have a hard time believing that. And I would be hard pressed to think that the Denver offense is going anywhere other. Like, I don't know, for as much work as they put into that, for as much as this is the second year in the same offense, I just have a hard time believing that they are going to scuffle all season or look worse than they did last season as compared to now. So I do think this is going to be a tougher road test because it is on the road, and I don't think the Colts are a bad team. I think this is still going to be one that Denver's going to come through at the end. And I think that's where a lot of people are kind of saying that it may be competitive, but it's not going to be something where Denver's in a whole lot of trouble. So Vegas does have us as a 3-point, as a field goal winner. So take from that what you will.
For sure. I want to pull this up because I know it's close in terms of like the betting odds and everything. And ESPN is being super weird today. They barely have the Colts edging out the Broncos in terms of matchup predictor, essentially a home field advantage, 51.2% to 48.4%. That doesn't even add up to 100%. So I don't know if there's just like one person there that's like, I don't know, I'm not going to make a pick. But
you're still thorough,
right, exactly. I saw it earlier this week. I don't know what it's sitting at now, but the fan predictor, the fans were predicting a 72% chance for the Broncos. So, good stuff there. And one thing that we haven't really talked about yet is these Broncos players and the Colts too remember what happened in last year's game. The Colts were beating the pants off of us before Jonathan Taylor fumbled before the end zone.
Yeah.
Now, he's not going to do that today. I can guarantee you, he runs it in the end zone, he's going to be holding that damn rock all the way through the back of the end zone, as any running back, wide receiver, tight end, anybody on should be doing, right? There's no reason to drop the ball in the end zone, period, at the end, if you ask me. Just because you don't know if you really heard the whistle or not. But both teams remember this. The Colts were offered for this to be an international game, and they said, no, we want to play this game at home in our whites, in our all white.
Oh,
jerseys,
yeah.
Which is why the Broncos are going to be in their
orange,
sunset orange jerseys today. So the Colts wanted this to be at home in front of their crowd because they remember, that game basically changed the playoff paths for both of these teams last year. So the Colts are looking for retribution, and the Broncos better remember and have that in mind, that the Colts are coming out looking for blood. And if the Broncos go out there with that in mind, we're going to be okay. If the Broncos go out there any kind of lazy, just chilling, let's lay back a little bit, we'll be fine, we're the better team, they might very well be surprised. So I think it's all about mindset, but we have the right leadership in place that I think that's not a problem.
I mean, that fumble at the goal line was a very big drop in the pond that had that did change. It changed the whole complexion of the game. It changed the whole complexion of the playoff. I mean, could you imagine of having to losing that game and then needed to win, 2 out of those last 3 games instead of just one of those last 3 games?
Yeah.
That would have been, that would have been a task. So the fact that they got that win, and kind of how the defense had to carry the day, because that was, and maybe this is something that maybe also isn't being talked about a whole bunch, is that Bo Nix did not have a great game that day, and has kind of had, I wouldn't say maybe looked human, but has definitely had games where he's gone out and thrown multiple picks, and the picks don't exactly look great on, just from watching it. The first was that Colts game, and then you have last week where he's again he has a couple really ugly picks. So maybe this game is a lot closer than even maybe what Denver even thinks it might be. I still think we have enough to pull it out, just like I thought we had enough to pull it out last season. So, but maybe this is a much more grinded out, maybe comes down to the last type of drive type of game too.
For sure. Let me go through some of these other comments. First off, Andrew, so if anybody's not aware, there is an Easter egg hidden on the website. Just a little joke, just a little, like, when you see it, you'll know it, right? But you got to look for it. So if you find it, let us know. Send us a message on the website or through Facebook, whatever, and let us know what you think you found, keeping those 2 hints that we have for you so far in mind. Allison, glad to see you here. As always, you're predicting a 28-14 Broncos win. I love it.
No field goal.
Yeah, no field goal. I'm okay with that. Let's see. Did you see Joe Burrow got hurt? Yes, and we kind of talked about that, but that'll be more of a topic before the Bengals game, and we'll have to wait to see how bad that injury actually is. Angelo, I like this. The Colts will get nothing and like it. If they end up getting like negative net yards in the second half, like the Titans did,
how do you get negative?
Okay, you just you just suck. That's what you're just like, nah, we're not gonna do anything. Let's see. We are on our way to 24,000 followers, guys. So if you haven't already, make sure you go and like us on Facebook. Tell your friends to like us on Facebook and YouTube and all the different places. But I think we're still about 500 people or so away. If we get 500 new fans today, I will shave my head. Not the beard. The beard stays because it takes way too long to grow out. But I will shave my head. Now, I'm still going to wear the hat. You're not going to see it all the time, but I am willing to do that. So I'll even show up on the Tuesday show with a shaved head. And it doesn't look pretty. I've tried it before, guys, and I'm willing to do it. But I don't think we're going to get 500 followers today. So prove me wrong.
Share this. Get this out there. We need to see. I need to see my face in 𝐓𝐚𝐥𝐤's noggin.
Yes. It's very lumpy. That's the problem.
Lumpy.
It doesn't. Me balls does not look good.
Are you saying that you are not because we all know that there are certain gentlemen that look good as bald men, and there are certain gentlemen that do not look good as bald men.
I do not.
The gentlemen do not.
I need hair. And God forbid I ever lose my hair, because then I'm gonna have to start wearing a wig, because it's just too lumpy. I can't pull it off. Some guys are just like, wow, that's a very dignified look. That's for me. It's like, why is your head smushed? You're like, it's not. It's just.
Why does the top of your head look like Play-Doh?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, Andrew says, let's get the W and KC gets the L. Man, now that is a game I wish I could watch today. The Super Bowl matchup, rematch. It is played at the same time as the Broncos game, though, so I'm not going to be able to watch it unless it extends past the end of the Broncos game there. But I don't know, man. That's going to be a fun one to watch. But let's see. We're going to start closing this out. So let's think about some keys to the victory here. So make sure we get out before kickoff. So keys to victory, guys. Again, post your score predictions. We still have some time for that all the way up through kickoff. After kickoff, the pool is closed. Any scores entered after kickoff do not count. So again, remember your score prediction. If you are right, let us know. Keys to the game. Adam, I'm going to hand it over to you first, man. 2 or 3. What are you looking for?
Defense, I think, needs to basically go ham like they did last time. I really feel like the Denver offense really plays into the things that Daniel Jones doesn't do very well. If you can put pressure in his face, the guy has really shown consistently that he does not make good decisions in that. So I really feel like this is a game that really plays to the strengths of the Denver defense. They have the capacity to rush to get to the passer without blitzing. So I could see this being a very, very long day for Mr. Jones on offense. My plea is to just be conservative. Like, I know there's a bunch of new toys and a bunch of fancy things that we can do, but let's
build up.
Let's go back to some like Vince Lombardi, like 3 yards and a cloud of dust, mash on some fools, grind out a win, come back home and get ready for LA next week.
Yep, I like it. For me, you got to limit the turnovers. If you have 4 turnovers today, you're going to lose the game. If you have 4,
absolutely.
I think maybe 3, you have a chance. With 4, you'll lose the game. And so these guys, the offense has got to go out there and protect the football. If Bo Nix needs to throw it away versus hold on to it or whatever, think he's going to get out of it. No, I think today you just got to get, protect the football, get rid of it, not have turnovers, no fumbles, any of those things. Mistakes happen. I get it. Right. If we have 1, if we have 2, those are recoverable. But having 4 last week was a fluke. To have 4 turnovers, 2 more than the Titans did, still win the time of possession battle. Like, that doesn't happen very often. So that's not going to happen again this week if we have 4 turnovers. The Colts will eat us alive if we do. You got to limit turnovers. I'm also going to say run game. We talked about it. You got to stick with the run game. And then also special teams. Special teams is going to be very important for field position, all that stuff. No mistakes there. Marvin, hopefully he goes out there and gets some solid returns. I like to see it to the point where they just kick it away from him because they don't even want to mess with him. But kind of remind him why he's a Pro Bowler, in terms of the return position. So a couple of things there that the Broncos need to do in order to come away with a win today. But let's end it with some score predictions and then closing thoughts, buddy. So for you, man, what's your score prediction?
I am going to go 27-13 good guys. I do not see Daniel Jones having a good day today. I just don't. And I do really kind of feel like it is going to be another maybe slightly better played version of last week. Maybe not as many turnovers, but it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a bit of a fight, but one I think that we're capable of pulling out.
Yeah. I'm close. I'm similar, 24-10. I think, again, the Colts might have some early success, right? But I think you're going to see that fade off very quickly once the Broncos defense adjusts, figures out what they're doing, and, again, controlling and limiting Jonathan Taylor's run game. So once you see that, don't panic early on. Let it happen. Let things develop. But after that, you're going to see the Colts, I think, just kind of struggle more as we pick things up. So we're going to see, man. But okay, guys, we're going to do some quick closing thoughts. But before we do, again, we are live at halftime. Make sure you come on over, join us for the fun show, and head on over to BroncosandBourbon.com. Go to the huddle page and the game chat over there. We'll be live talking about the game as it's going on. So make sure you head over there. But Mr. Adam, closing thoughts, over to you, sir.
Closing thoughts. We have a very big divisional game coming up after this week. I would advise that this not be a, looking past them game, or even, and this is more for Broncos fans more than anything, because I really feel like they're focused on today. But let's also take into account that I do feel like this is going to be a much tougher game than we give them credit for. So when we win, and I do believe that when we win, let's also hope that the national media maybe puts a little bit more respect on our name than after we did last week. Which again, we didn't. And no, we didn't look great. But to your point, Kev Dan, I think that 4 turnovers against bad teams shows that we can pull it out. But 4 turnovers against good teams, we may not have it in us, because most teams don't. So I think we'll see a better effort today. And what do you think, Kev?
Yeah, man. We kind of talked a lot about it already, but this is a good early matchup for the Broncos. Something that it's a very winnable game if they go out there and do things correctly. But I'll also say, worst case, if things don't go our way, it's only week 2, right? I know I'm hearing people talk on the radio already about playoff odds and how your playoff odds skyrocket if you go 2-0. It's 2-0. I think the Chiefs started 0-2 last year or the year before, and they got early playoffs, predictions at week 2 are just ridiculous. So whatever happens this week, it's recoverable. Again, we saw it last year. We started 0-2. We recovered from that. So this team has grit. They have confidence in themselves. They know that they can fight back from whatever situation they're in. And that, is seen in the game and outside of the game as well. So, I'm just saying, whatever happens today, don't panic, don't overplay it. If we win, don't overplay it to say, oh, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. Hey, it's week 2. Let's get through this week, and then let's focus on week 3. Okay, guys? So that's all we got to say.
This is so we want to have the most boring reaction. We want to be so reasonable and so measured in our
just nice little golf clap. Yes, very nice. Very good. No massive celebrations.
No.
And then you'll see me after the game going, yeah.
Exactly.
So anyway, guys, we are 5 minutes from kickoff, 5-10 minutes from kickoff. A few more minutes to get in your score prediction. Remember, we're only going to take the first one you posted, so keep that in mind. But Broncos jersey on the line. With that being said, we will see you at halftime, guys. But, man, I've got nothing left to say other than end this show as we always do on a very strong Go Broncos.
Let's go Broncos.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you at halftime.
What I like, sip and go, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go.